If you're helping a child add or subtract fractions and the bottom numbers are different, this is often the point where things start to feel a bit wobbly. I'm Marie from This Child Can, and I'll show you a simple way to explain why we have to make the pieces match first. Let's do some fractions with pizza. Okay, let's start with something the child might already understand. Here we have 2/6 plus 3/6. That works quite neatly because we're counting the same kinds of pieces, 6 plus 6. So we keep the denominator, the bottom number, the same. And we add the numerators, the top numbers. So if we say 2/6 plus 3/6 equals 5/6. But then the child sees something like this. And now it's not quite so obvious because the bottom numbers are different. Some children will try and solve it like this. And you can see why. They're thinking, it says add, so I'll add the numbers I can see. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. So they get 2/6. But with fractions, the first question is not what numbers can I add? So the better question is actually what size pieces are we counting? So let's make that visible. Here is half a pizza. The denominator is the bottom number, the 2. It tells us what kind of pieces we have. So in 1/2, the denominator is 2. That means the whole pizza has been split into 2 equal parts. These are half-size pieces. Now let's look at 1/4 over here. This denominator is 4. So this pizza has been split into 4 equal parts. These are quarter-size pieces. Now this is the part, the really important part I'd want the child to notice. These pieces are not the same size. A half is bigger than a quarter. So if we just say, add them, the child is trying to count pieces that don't match. It's like saying, I have 1 big slice and 1 small slice. So altogether I have 2, but 2 what? 2 pieces, yes, but not 2 pieces of the same size. A really useful sentence to say to the child is, before we add fractions, the pieces need to be the same size. That's the big idea. We're not just giving a rule, we're showing why that rule exists. So with these fractions, we need to change the half so it's written in quarter-size pieces. We can do that because 1/2 is the same amount as 2/4. So you could say 1/2 is the same amount of pizza as 2/4. We haven't changed how much pizza there is. We've only changed how it's cut. And that sentence is really important. Same amount, but different size pieces. Because some children think that changing 1/2 into 2/4 means we've changed the fraction, but we haven't. We've just changed the way we're describing it. It's still the same amount of pizza, but now it's written in quarters, so it matches the other fraction. Now we can rewrite the question. Instead of 1/2 plus 1/4, we now write 2/4 plus 1/4. Now the pieces match as they're all quarters. We can now add the top numbers. 2/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. Therefore, 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. And notice the order. First, make the pieces match, and then count the pieces. And getting that order right really matters. Now, let's try the same idea with subtraction. Does it work in the same way? Suppose the child sees 3/4 take away 1/2. The denominators are different. We have quarters and we have halves. So before we subtract, we ask, what size pieces are we counting? Because at the moment, they don't match. So we need to change 1/2 into quarters, because 1/2 is the same amount as 2/4. So now the calculation has become 3/4 take away 2/4. And the pieces are the same size. They're all quarters. So we can subtract the top numbers. 3/4 minus 2/4 leaves 1/4. And going back to the original question, this means that 3/4 take away 1/2 is 1/4. So the key idea is this. When the denominators are different, the pieces are different sizes. Before adding and subtracting, we make the pieces the same size first. And then, once the denominators match, we add or subtract the numerators. Finally, once the child has followed the method, ask them to explain it back to you. That's key. Begin with, why did we change 1/2 into 2/4? And you're listening for something like, because it's the same amount, but quarters match the other fraction, so now they look the same. And this tells you that the child is beginning to understand the structure, not just copying the steps. In this video, we've seen that when fractions have different denominators, the pieces are different sizes. So before we add or subtract them, we need to make the pieces match first. Then we can count them properly. Thanks for watching. If this helped, please like the video and subscribe to This Child Can for more calm, practical explanations for parents, tutors and teachers. And I'd really love to know in the comments, what's one maths topic you understand yourself but find surprisingly hard to explain clearly to a child?